What's going on YouTube? It is Repulse back another video. In today's video, we have another short and sweet Chelsea news video to piggyback off last night. Yeah, some big news that happened today. Obviously, we had two here we goes for Chelsea. Not on the incomings, on the outgoings. You probably know the players that I am referring to, but yeah, there's two here we goes for Chelsea today. It's going to be another short and sweet news video, just like the one yesterday. So yeah, not much, not taking too much of your time. So I hope you see this video through. If you do end up enjoying it, please be sure to like, subscribe, and let's jump straight into the news. Speaking on Jackson and Nkunku, who are 100% going to leave Chelsea, says Fabrizio Romano, saying that Bayern spent the whole week trying to agree, but at the moment they are only offering a loan. Keep an eye on English clubs for the situation of Nkunku. We know yesterday that Aston Villa called, um, and maybe I was wrong. Maybe it wasn't Jacob Ramsey that did um, go to Newcastle, but I do believe someone from Aston Villa went to Newcastle. I could be completely wrong on that Jacob Ramsey front, but yeah, they did sign Jacob Ramsey, so they did get 40 million from them. I wasn't speaking. I just remember seeing the pronunciation videos and seeing Jacob Ramsey on there. Obviously, he had the iconic voice crack, but yeah, Aston Villa have 40 million pounds to spend right now from that Jacob Ramsey money, so you could see Nkunku potentially go there. You could see that being used on the Jackson loan fee, and then partially on the obligation to buy from next year. Um, so yeah, we'll see if Aston Villa make any movements, but keep an eye on the English clubs, maybe on both situations. For Jackson, we know that Newcastle still need a striker. Brentford aren't budging on their WIS evaluation. It doesn't seem like Newcastle bid around 40 million pounds, and Brentford turned it down almost immediately and said they want around 60. So maybe they don't go in for Wissa, and maybe Jackson heads over there. But we know Aston Villa are interested in Nkunku, so keep an eye on English clubs for both of them, because it seems like Villa could be in for both, or Newcastle could be in for Jackson as well. But also we know RB Leipzig are in for Nkunku as well as Bayern Munich, but they're only offering loans. So yeah, we'll look at the situation of those in the next weeks because it is really important for the incomings. As we refer to here from Fabrizio on his YouTube video, said that for Xavi Simons, it depends on Nkunku leaving, but Chelsea remain optimistic. So it's not if one of Nkunku or Jackson leaves, it's if Nkunku leaves, Xavi Simons is the replacement. So really have to be attentive to that because I know this is the signing that everyone wants Chelsea to make is Xavi Simons, but it really depends on Nkunku headed out the door. So yeah, gonna have to be attentive to his situation throughout next week. Because Xavi is waiting for Nkunku to head out the door. But we remain optimistic. We believe that Nkunku will be able to head out. So, again, it seems like Xavi Simons will become a Chelsea player. Um, and Fabrizio spoke on his podcast as well today, saying that if everything goes to plan, I still expect Xavi to end up at Stamford Bridge. Regular contact between clubs and personal terms agreed with Xavi. Contact between clubs, I think, is going to have something to do with Nkunku potentially headed to RB Leipzig. Seems like they're only offering a loan, but we know they'll have the money to buy. They lost Sheshko. Obviously, they're going to lose Xavi, so they can use the Xavi money to buy Nkunku pretty much, as well as the Sheshko money to buy Xavi, or not Xavi, Christopher Nkunku as well. So they're offering a loan. I do expect them to budge if they do really want Nkunku that badly. But yeah, there's regular contact between clubs. We know personal terms are agreed with Xavi, so we're just waiting on this deal to be facilitated, and we know that all depends on Christopher Nkunku's future. So maybe Leipzig do budge because they do want to get the player off the books because they know he doesn't want to be there. But we'll definitely be attentive to this in this coming week because we know it is the last week of the transfer window. But on the future of Xavi and Garnacho, Fabrizio said that Alejandro Garnacho and Xavi Simons are patiently waiting for Chelsea to give them the green light, and Nkunku and Jackson must go in the final week of the window. So, two for two, it seems like Jackson must go for Garnacho to come in, and then Nkunku must go for Xavi to come in. So, definitely be attentive to the situation of both of them to see if they do come in to Chelsea, because obviously it is a two in, two out situation here. So, we must be attentive, as I've said for the last couple of days, on the situations of Nkunku and Jackson headed into the last week of the transfer window to determine the futures of Alejandro Garnacho and Xavi Simons, who, are waiting, rejecting other clubs to come to Chelsea. So, again, just got to be attentive. And yeah, we'll see the futures of Nkunku and Jackson be resolved. Again, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Bayern Munich, the three clubs that are constantly floated around both of their names. Leipzig as well for Nkunku. And then for Xavi and Garnacho, it's pretty much only Chelsea for them. I know Tottenham inquired for Xavi, but he rejected them, and Bayern inquired for Garnacho, but he also rejected them. So just a straight road for Chelsea. It's just dependent on if Nkunku and Jackson can go. Um, Furthermore, Fabrizio said that he can tell you that 100% or Chelsea 100% expect Garnacho to become a new Chelsea player. I think we're going to get a here we go next week. So a little contradictory that it seems like Xavi is waiting for Nkunku's future, but then for Garnacho we just fully expect him to become a Chelsea player. We know Fabrizio's reported this a little weirdly, so I don't really know. Um, what to say on it because we know Fabrizio's kind of been awkward about the future of Garnacho. It seems very agent driven, player driven, um, just feeding him all the information to report. And it seems like he's biting at every opportunity. So, yeah, it's been really weirdly reported, but he can tell you that he expects Garnacho to become a Chelsea player. Chelsea expects Garnacho to become a Chelsea player, and that we may potentially get a here we go next week. So definitely keep an eye out on the situation of Garnacho next week. We know Tyreek George may head off to Roma, so maybe that means Garnacho comes in to be a backup left winger or a competition for Jamie Gittins on that left hand side. So yeah, there's that. Furthermore, Fabrizio says that Chelsea messages to those close to Garnacho in the last 24 to 48 hours says, stay patient and wait. This deal will happen, basically confirming what he said earlier about this 100% expectance. Apparently, I think this is Garnacho's camp, to be honest. Close to Garnacho, maybe it's the brother, maybe it's Garnacho himself, or maybe it's just, the player's camp. But Fabrizio heard it from someone close to Garnacho saying that stay patient and wait, this deal's going to happen from the Chelsea perspective. So seems like we're confident that one of Jackson or Nkunku will leave and be able to fund Garnacho as well as Xavi. Because I do think if the Garnacho deal happens, then Xavi will also happen. So yeah, just keep an eye out the next week. I've said this so many times. We just pretty much have to keep an eye out more on the outgoings rather than the incomings. But yeah, just really have to be attentive to the situations that are ongoing for Chelsea. And we know it's just four names right now. It's just Nkunku, it's just Jackson, and then it's just Garnacho and Xavi. So yeah, that's that. On the outgoings, we got our here we go this morning from Fabrizio. From I believe it was at like 1 a.m. my time, 2 a.m. my time. Um, in like 8 a.m. in the UK. But as soon as people were going to sleep in the US and people were waking up in the UK, Fabrizio tweets Aaron Anselmino to Borussia Dortmund from Chelsea. Here we go. Deal agreed on loan, no buy option clause as Aaron will be back at Chelsea in June 2026. Borussia Dortmund will cover his salary and also expected to sign Carney Chukwuemeka on permanent deal next. Almost done. And then a couple hours later, we get Fabrizio saying Carney Chukwuemeka to Borussia Dortmund. Here we go. Deal done and plan confirmed. Chelsea to receive fee around 25 million euros with add-ons and heavy sell-on clause also included. Key in deal. Anselmina loan and Carney permanent both will undergo medical on Monday. So yeah, both deals are done. We anticipated this. I said yesterday that it could have been today or could have been Monday, but medicals are Monday. Deal's going to be finalized on Monday. The here we go was today, so everything's done. Just pretty much medicals need to take place and all that. And then the futures of Carney Chukwuemeka as well as Annie Anselmino will be settled in Germany for Borussia Dortmund. Obviously Anselmino is coming back to Chelsea after a year. Chukwuemeka is a permanent deal, so Anselmino gets the two-way ticket. Carney Chukwuemeka gets the one-way ticket. But you know, good luck to Carney. Wish him well. Obviously, little unlucky with the injuries. Got injured in the game against West Ham after he scored a tremendous goal. And then, just never really saw him feature for Chelsea ever again after that. So, wish him well. Little unfortunate. His Chelsea career obviously just riddled by injuries. So, hopefully he can stay healthy at Borussia Dortmund and find a big move in the future because we have a heavy sell-on clause in his contract. Um, so there's that. On Anselmino, just hope he gets game time. Hope he's able to perform. I saw something saying that Borussia Dortmund have like 5 or 4 center halves out, so it seems like he will be guaranteed games as soon as he steps foot into Borussia Dortmund. Hopefully, plays enough to earn his spot there in the coming games when everyone is back and healthy. But definitely be attentive to German or in the Bundesliga, especially Borussia Dortmund, to see how these players play. Obviously, they drew 3-1 or 3-3 against St. Pauli. Obviously, you can't draw 3-1, but drew 3-3 against St. Pauli. Hopefully, these reinforcements that they get from Chelsea do help them moving forward. Furthermore, Ben Jacobs says that Carney Chukwuemeka is set to join Dortmund permanently for in excess of £20 million, while Aaron Anselmino will leave Chelsea on loan. Both agreements being finalized with both players given permission to travel. And then, lastly, Ben Jacobs says that Dortmund will pay Chelsea £24 million for Carney Chukwuemeka, who has permission to travel. Chelsea also retain a sell-on, so pretty much backing what Fabrizio says, but a little more money there in £24 million compared to €25 million. So maybe Chelsea got a little bit more than Fabrizio reported. But yeah, Carney Chukwuemeka and Aaron Anselmino are headed to Borussia Dortmund. That is the last talking point in this video. So yeah, another short and sweet news video. If you did enjoy, please be sure to like, subscribe. News will be out tomorrow as well. Obviously, there is a Newcastle and Liverpool game, which is pretty ironic with the situation on Isak. But hopefully, Michael Edwards is there. They can negotiate on Isak. There's a here we go, so Newcastle can come in for Nicholas Jackson. But other than that, yeah, if you did enjoy this video, again, please be sure to like, subscribe. Support has been tremendous recently. Thank you all so much for that. So yeah, continue on with the content. Video will be out tomorrow. And yeah, as always, it's Repulse, and I'm out. Peace.